Okay. So I'm gonna put on speaker. Hi. He said hi first. So what I'm gonna do is, Abigail, I'm gonna have you and your husband say and spell your names. And then I'm gonna go to your nursing team and have them say and spell their name and give their title. So go ahead, Abigail.
All right, so Abigail Balschmitter, Abigail, and then Balschmitter is Balschmitter.
And then it's Brighton Balschmitter, Breiten.
And then this is Abram, Abram.
Okay, and then your care team, your nurses, go ahead.
I'm Claire Gardner, CLAIREGARDNER, and I'm a registered nurse.
And I'm Megan Adams, MEGANADAMS, and I'm the clinical nurse leader.
Okay, well, let's start with Abigail. I know I asked you this on the phone, but maybe give a little bit of a synopsis of how you ended up at the NICU.
Yes. So I was a sick pregnant person and had hyperemesis, which meant that I threw up way more than the average pregnant person and needed intervention for hydration and had to do home fluids every day. Then I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes and had to manage that. And then got diagnosed with preeclampsia, and this little man decided to break his water at 33 weeks and 6 days. And so that's how we ended up at the NICU, because he needed some help with some breathing and some temperature and a lot of help with eating.
So tell me what it was like, because I know you told me you had a lot of things going on. And obviously you have to care about your baby because you're a mom and this is your child. Just tell me what it was like for you, because I know you started at Newark and then you went to RGH.
Yeah, so it was a crazy week. I actually started a new job on Monday and started leaking fluid the same day. So I ended up going to the hospital then, and they did a test to see like if I would be going into early labor, but it didn't result for 48 hours. So I was at work on Wednesday and they called me and said, I need you to go to the hospital right now. So I had to go to Rochester General and start steroid injections for his lungs. And I actually was contracting then and didn't know it. And I was already starting to dilate. So they kept me overnight to observe me. And then they sent me home and I could finish my steroid shots at Newark Hospital, which is just like 3 minutes from my house. So that was amazing. And I had the third shot was Friday morning. That was my last one. And my blood pressure was just crazy high. I was contracting again. They did some blood work that showed that like my liver enzymes and things were all off. And luckily the care team there was fantastic as well. And they immediately said, the doctor came in and just, we're transferring you right now. We're gonna start a magnesium drip. We're gonna try and get you out of here before we have to deliver him here. And I did the ambulance. I've never seen come so fast. They were there in like 20 minutes. My husband and my mom barely had time to get to the hospital for me. And then I got to Rochester and they were fantastic as well. Within like 3 hours, I was brought over to see high risk and do an ultrasound with them. And from there, they made a plan that I was going to try and stay pregnant until Tuesday. So I hung out with these people for multiple days. And I was just back and forth from the delivery side to the, I guess what they call postpartum, but I was not postpartum. And then Saturday, I had to have medications to stop labor. And then Sunday, I was just too far gone and he broke his water. So it was just, I'm very thankful that they decided during this time that you could have a visitor. So I could have my husband and my mom there because it was just a lot. And I think the scariest part was once I broke my water, he came in 3 hours. So it was so fast. and my epidural didn't work, so I had no pain relief. And the magnesium, it made me very out of it. So it was like I was in another state, like I couldn't interact with people. I could see everything that was happening around me, but I couldn't interact with it.
Yeah.
Like Brighton was fantastic, and he just stared at my chest the whole time and reminded me to breathe because I just could, like I had no respiratory drive. So it was terrifying. But I felt more comfortable because I was there for multiple days, they did a lot of education before. So like the attending from the NICU and a couple of the nurses from the NICU came over, I think on Saturday, and did a whole education thing with my mom and I about what to expect. All of the things that could happen with a baby that was his age, all of the interventions that could be done, the fact that he could be transferred if he needed to. So that made me feel a lot more comfortable. Like having that education before I needed it was good so I could process what I was going into, because I wouldn't have been able to comprehend in that moment for sure. And it was great to have another support person because Brighton got to follow Abram right to the NICU right away and be there. So he never didn't have a parent with him, and I could have my mom with me, so I wasn't alone. So it was a lot, but it was good because we had the support and the education prior, so it made me much more comfortable.
So I'm going to ask your nurses. So explain to me, because, a lot of people don't, he was born at what, 33 weeks, right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
just under 34.
Okay. So what is the issues that present themselves at like 33 weeks? And I know that every baby varies, but with Abram, like what was your main concern when he was there?
Okay, so for a baby at that gestational age, our primary concerns are going to be respiratory distress, which is very common in preterm and premature babies. That's the immediate concern for the most part. And then longer term, it's usually temperature problems. They have issues with their thermoregulation and they need to be in an incubator or under a radiant warmer for a long time. And then in terms of growing, they need a lot of help with their feeding. So most babies at that age need a nasogastric tube, an NG tube that goes from the nose to the stomach to help with their feedings until they can coordinate and drink from a bottle or a breast.
So tell me what it was like, or when you two saw Abram for the first time, because you haven't seen him. He was born in April, is that right? Remind me?
Yes.
Okay.
April 26th.
And he went home what day? He went home in May then.
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know the exact date. It was 22 days later.
I'm bad at math, so I won't guess. It's May.
Everyone's first impression of Abram was, we think his dates are wrong because he was very large for his age. He was what we call LGA, or large for gestational age.
Yeah.
What's it like seeing him now? Like when you guys walked in and you saw him?
It's incredible. I think Claire, when she first walked in and saw him, we don't always get to see the NICU grads after they leave. We're fortunate sometimes to have families send us Christmas cards at this time of year and to send pictures as they grow. So even before our time in the NICU, there's still families years later that are sending cards, thank you notes from their children's time in the NICU. And it's very heartwarming for us to see these families as they grow together. Sometimes our time with them is very short, and sometimes our time with them is a little bit longer, like in Abram's case. But neither short nor long, they leave an impression on us as a staff. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it brings us to tears.
Oh, that's sweet. So let me ask you, Abigail, again, and I'm going to ask you and your husband this question. So how special is this first Christmas with him?
Like I can't even describe how special it is. I mean, during my pregnancy, like I was so sick, I wasn't even sure if we were gonna end up having Abram. And then with the delivery and the feeding issues, like I was just in a place of like survival. So to get to celebrate and have Christmas with him is just unbelievable.
Yes.
Also, we are like, Brighton and I are super Christmas people, and we actually got married the 22nd 3 years ago. So Christmas is like our thing. So to have him to do like our favorite holiday with is just amazing.
Happy anniversary.
I know. Happy anniversary.
That's great. So Dad, let me ask you, because, you know, you're seeing what she's going through. You're seeing what he's going through. What was that like for you?
My biggest thing at the moment was I got to take care of my wife like all throughout the pregnancy, and I am never someone to be in the hospital taking care of myself, and I don't like blood. I don't like any of that stuff. But like, as she says, I went like dad nurse mode, and I learned how to do the IVs and everything for her, and would change fluid and flush them all, and kind of was at like her at-home nurse for a while. And then once he was born, and I knew she was okay and in the hospital after giving birth, and I was like, yeah, I'm going with him. Like, your mom's here. I'm out. See you later. Bye. And went with him, and just realizing, oh wow, there's a whole nother part of us now that I got to care for and be with. And seeing him for the first time and seeing him in the NICU was very scary. And like, their team there was like nothing but comforting the whole time. Like, as soon as I got there, they were like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is there. You can hold his hand and everything. He's got to be in, I call it a spaceship because it literally looks like one. You can like hold his hand and everything. You can see him. And as soon as we got her back to her room later that night, we were both able to come over, and like the staff there was just made everything better.
Yeah, I think it was very difficult, but the staff did a wonderful job of like, even though he was so sick and I was so sick, they did a great job allowing us to bond. Like I wasn't allowed out of bed because of the magnesium drip, but as soon as I was stable enough, they wheeled my whole bed over into his NICU room. So my first picture is me like laying in bed because I can't get out of bed, holding his hand while he's got the breathing stuff on. But they just made sure that like that was a priority. Because when he was born, like we didn't get to have that family bonding moment that everyone has, like this wonderful picture of, you know, the new baby on your chest and the dad getting the kiss on him, and we didn't get to have that, but they made sure that I did get to have something like that. As soon as it was safe for him and me, they made sure that those moments happened, which was really special to me.
That's so great. So I know this is, you know, the elephant in the room. So COVID, you know, everybody's concerned about that. And I know you probably both, from a provider and a patient standpoint. I guess, you know, now that we're at the point where it seems to be rearing its ugly head again, not that it ever went anywhere. What advice, I'll start with you, Abigail, as a mom, as a patient, what is your advice to people, and what do you want to tell them, like, as far as, you know, here you have your son who can't be vaccinated, who's little, you know, what do you want to tell people?
I think, especially because I'm a nurse as well. So I worked in the ICU during this before I switched jobs, and just not to politicize it, I think, is the biggest thing. And I mean, getting vaccinated is important. I did not get vaccinated per my doctor's advice while I was pregnant. But the NICU staff, as soon as I had Abram, the NICU staff, the doctors during rounds, I was asking them, should I do it? So I ended up getting vaccinated, and I've had the booster. And with that happening, he's gotten some antibodies. So he's kind of a little bit of vaccinated. But I think just use common sense. Wash your hands. Don't take risks. You know, just be smart, I think, is the biggest thing. And if you are scared, because I get a lot of people when I was working in the ICU that I would ask them, why didn't you get vaccinated? Why didn't you do these things? and it was out of fear. So find somebody that you trust and ask them questions. Ask them their opinion. Ask them if it's a healthcare provider. Find somebody you trust and can ask those questions so that it's not so scary.
Okay, I know your husband wants to say something. You can say what you want. I think you should be honest. As honest as you want to be. What do you think?
I feel that people should, because I've had a lot of like coworkers that I have are against it and everything, and I see it every day, time and time. And I have one of my coworkers right now that's in the hospital that he's not doing good. And if he makes it to the first of the year, and if I don't have to go to a funeral, the beginning of the year, start off 2022 with a funeral, I'll be more than excited. But if it's a way to stop something and a way to make you better, and if it's a way that like you might still get COVID with having the vaccine and the shots, but if it helps you not get a severe case, then I think people need to overlook some of their feelings. And you're always trained to be an adult and do what's right. And even though if you might not like it, and I think people need to be an adult and start doing things and looking after everyone else other than themselves.
And protecting the babies that can't. Huh.
What do you say, Abram? You think so?
Yeah.
I think so. So what do
You
you
went with me to
think?
get my booster.
So provider standpoint, now you guys are warriors, obviously. And I can't say that enough. I mean, this is your chance. You tell the public, what do you want them to know? I mean, be as honest as you want to be. What is your frustration? What is it you want them to hear?
We're here to answer your questions, whatever they may be, and however many times you need to ask them. We're happy to help and educate you. And we understand too that it's been very scary for everyone from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, and for different levels of understanding of what's going on. So just stay curious and keep an open mind. And we are happy to educate to the best of our ability. And especially for our people who are pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant, we want you to be especially careful, because we do find that our pregnant parents are reacting very strongly to COVID, and we want you to be safe, and we want you to be well when you have your baby.
From, I guess from your standpoint, as just in general, as working through all this, how has it been? How is morale? How do you keep going when it seems like this is Groundhog Day?
Morale is low. Morale has been very low. But that doesn't mean that we don't keep showing up and we don't keep giving the care that these families and that these babies, and sometimes us as NICU nurses, are sent throughout the hospital and taking care of adult patients deserve. They still deserve the best care that we can give. And even when we are not feeling like we have enough, we find it, or we try to find it, and we give them that care that they deserve. So we keep going because we have to.
I can agree with that. I mean, I'm still working as a nurse. I'm still picking up in the ICU almost weekly, I would say. And it's the same thing. Like, it is amazing how much coworkers can band together and be strong for each other. I mean, even the NICUs or the ICU staff that I work with, I don't work with them full time anymore, but still when I'm there, I'm part of their family and we're just in the fight together. So it's just amazing to see how close you can become with coworkers.
Yep.
Let me say this. I just want to say thank you to you guys very much. My mother has since passed away, but she was a pediatric oncology nurse. So I feel very just grateful for you. Thank you for all you're doing under insurmountable circumstances. Thank you, Abigail, and your husband for getting vaccinated and for having such a beautiful baby. Not that I have any, but to share the story.
Proud.
But I think it's really important, and it's Christmas time, right? And everybody needs a happy story. So I want to thank you guys very much. And when this story does air, I will share it with you. We'll probably share it internally too. So thank you so much for, like I said, for all you do and continue to do. And Merry Christmas, happy anniversary.
Hey, you guys come say bye-bye to Auntie Claire.
Oh my God.
So much, you guys. It was so special to see you.
Oh, I love it.
It's so
Thank you.
funny because we did explain to my family, and his family, because his aunts and, his grandmas didn't get to be there. So really, we called all of our nurses and our care providers, like Auntie Claire, and we had Auntie Sia. We had so many because that was the family he got to know for the first 3 weeks. Yeah, you know her.
He's so cute. Oh my God, look at him. Thank you guys. I'll let you get back to it, but thank you so much. And I promise to
Thank
share all this with you.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.